So we're 1 month into 2022 and the housing market is still going crazy. Has the housing market hit its peak, or will the steep upward trajectory stop and level off anytime soon? Well, never say never. Anything is possible, right? But right now, in this current moment, it doesn't look like a big slowdown is coming anytime soon. Just take a look at news headline after headline. For example, hottest January housing market on record. It could be years until we see a normal housing market. In fact, one report headline stated it's harder to find a home than it is to find love. Imagine that. And we're almost at Valentine's Day. Here in the Bay Area, we are very used to this type of housing market. We're used to expensive homes. We're used to not being able to afford to buy even a starter home. We're even used to low inventory. But even in the Bay Area, this is a new level of low inventory and a new height of expensive. But it appears that Bay Area housing trend has spread to many parts of the country as well. Just look at these latest headlines from other parts of the country. As the housing market booms, more North Carolina homeowners are now equity rich. Here's another one. Hot housing market playing into Tucson's skyrocketing rental prices, and more. Police, firefighters, and teachers are getting priced out of the Arizona housing market. And here's one in Texas. Austin's housing market values surged twice as fast as the rest of the U.S. And the reports just go on and on and on. Idaho, Washington, Nevada, Florida, Texas, Massachusetts, Virginia. I mean, pretty much everywhere. I pulled the numbers for the East Bay Area city where I live, which is Livermore, California, to compare the December market to the January market. And here is what I found. In December, there were 67 detached single-family homes sold with a median sold price of $1,022,500 and the average price of $1,232,958. And in January, there were just 48 detached single-family homes sold with a median home price of $1,222,500 and an average price of $1,340,648. That's an average sold price increase of $107,000 and a $200,000 increase of the median sold price. That's just from December to January, 1 month. It's easy to see why the headlines are saying it's the hottest January market ever recorded. If you own a home and you've been thinking about selling, I'm really curious, what's holding you back? What are you waiting for? Leave me your answer to this question in the comments below. What's holding you back from selling when you can almost name your price and get it? Now, it's not uncommon for real estate agents to mail out letters to homeowners letting them know that they have a buyer looking for a home in their area and ask if they're thinking of selling. It's something agents do in every market to generate business. You would think with sellers being able to name their price for selling their home, why aren't more sellers actually selling? Well, Ben Carlson of awealthofcommonsense.com recently highlighted his experience receiving such a letter in a post titled, "Why It Could Be Years Until We See a Normal Housing Market." In his post, he commented that he's surprised this practice still exists, the practice of sending out these letters. And to be completely honest, I've never been a fan of the "I have a client who would love to buy your home in your neighborhood, blah, blah, blah" letter. I mean, like, anyone is just going to open their mail and say, "Hey, honey, look, somebody wants to buy our house. What do you think? Should we start packing?" Okay, I can laugh at it all I want, but clearly agents are still sending out these letters because they probably work occasionally and they at least gets them in the door to have a conversation with that homeowner about listing their house for sale. And maybe they really were already considering it. Who knows? But for the record, it's 2022. There are better ways to find the best agent for you to work with than just, opening up your junk mail and picking the one that sent you a letter, or maybe the one that, interrupts dinner by knocking on the door. So if you don't know how to find an agent, call me and I'll tell you how to find one in your area. And it won't be by opening up your junk mail. So, okay, back to Ben's post. He received this nice letter from an agent in an area, and it said, and I'm going to paraphrase, "I've been working with a family for the last few months, helping them look for a new home. So far, they have not been able to find the home that they're looking for. They love your neighborhood, your location, your community, blah, blah, blah." You know how it usually says. They are pre-approved. They are almost willing to sign a blank check over to you for your home. Well, I added that. Anyway, even if you don't want to move out yet, they'll let you stay a while. as long as you need to until you're ready to move. Obviously, I'm kidding. That's not exactly what the letter said that Ben received, but it's almost like, hey, sell us a house, stay a year, we won't charge you anything, and then we'll get the house eventually. But Ben went on to say that he and his wife joked around that maybe they should just say, okay, sure, we'll sell for 20% over the current value. But the reality is it wouldn't help them much to get 20% over their current market value because they still need to live somewhere. And they already have a great mortgage rate. And the realtor who wrote the letter so much has told him that it would be nearly impossible for him to find another house to buy anyway. Now, if you're relocating, selling at a premium high price to a ready, willing, able buyer makes complete sense. And if you own a home in California, especially anywhere in the Bay Area, and you're moving out of the area or to another state in a year or even two, you don't want to miss out on this amazing seller's market either. So how long will this amazing seller's market last? Will it keep climbing? Let's take a look at what the experts are saying. According to an NBC News article, they don't expect the market to get rapidly out of control like it did last year. However, supply is still very low and prices are still heading up, and it's likely that mortgage rates will increase. Lawrence Yun, chief economist at the National Association of Realtors, said, as we move through the year, we will see slower sales activity. Intense multiple offer days are over. People can take their time. Okay, now I'm not sure that I completely agree. If inventory is still low, I believe we'll still see plenty of multiple offer situations, at least we will in the Bay Area. Recently, a home near me had 27 offers. Several of them, many of them, $150,000 over the asking price. That was just on one home. That means that 26 buyers are still out there looking at homes in that price point. And we have just 6 in that range on the market currently. Of course, this comment is referring to the national market, but I'm just commenting on the Bay Area market. Senior Vice President and Chief Economist at Fannie Mae, Doug Duncan, said, there's no expectation that the prices will fall, but our forecast suggests that the price appreciation will slow. Duncan predicted that while the prices won't repeat the crazy 18% increase they sustained last year, they will see a rise somewhere in the neighborhood of 7.5%. The current market is extra challenging for first-time home buyers. Home buyers looking at buying an entry-level priced home. Many who have worked hard to save up for a down payment and closing costs have found themselves not able to save fast enough to keep up with the increase of housing prices. They are facing competition not only from other first-time home buyers, but also those looking to downsize into smaller, more affordable homes, and also from corporate investors that are buying those exact same homes because they make great rental properties. I don't think this is a big problem in the Bay Area because truthfully, our cap rates for rentals and buy and hold investors are just not that appealing to, corporations and institutional type investors who could buy in other states and make a lot higher investment return. But I am seeing a lot of older, smaller, outdated homes being bought by investors and remodeled back on the market a few months later for top dollar because they're, now in perfect new clean, they're amazing condition. But this still makes it harder for first-time buyers with a limited down payment budget and a lower, price point because maybe they wanted to fix it up and put in their own sweat equity over time. And there just are even less homes on the market available for them to buy where they could fix it up over time. But even with this being a seller's market, that doesn't mean that buyers should sit it out and wait. Renting a few more years will cost you a lot of money. If you pay $2,500 a month in rent, that's $30,000 a year that you're going to lose by waiting. $150,000 in just 5 years, assuming that your rent doesn't increase. But rents have been on the rise too, just as much as home prices. Being priced out of the market doesn't just happen to home buyers. It's completely possible to get priced out of the rental market too. I have seen it happen many times to many people I know. They end up having no choice but to relocate to where rents are lower, oftentimes giving them longer commutes, their kids changing schools. It's just, losing their friends, not being near their family. It's not fun for anybody. So waiting can also impact your monthly mortgage payment, even if prices come down, because the interest rate is likely to increase later this year. So let's say you're qualified to buy a $1 million home with a 20% down payment, and the current interest rate is 3.9%. That gives you a monthly mortgage payment of $3,773 a month. But you opt to wait until prices come down, which is understandable. Now remember, currently the experts are saying that prices will continue to rise, that they'll rise at 7.5%. And I've seen estimates as high as 11% by the end of this year. But let's just say for the sake of this example that they're all wrong and the prices do come down. So let's say that they drop by 5%. So that $1 million house at the end of this year now costs $950,000. It sounds like a great deal, right? You just saved $50,000. However, if the interest rate went up 1% and is now at 4.9%, at least you save $50,000 on the price, right? With 20% down, you'd have a loan of $760,000, and your payment now for a 5% less home would be $4,034. Wait, what? Wait, what? Isn't that more than it would have been if you'd paid $50,000 more? Yep, it's $261 a month more, in fact. Plus, don't forget to add up all the months you spent renting while you were waiting to save that 5%. What if the prices came down 10% and interest only increased 1%? Let's see. So that $1 million house would now be $900,000. So you'd have a loan of $720,000 with your 20% down payment. So even if prices came down 10% this year, you would still have a monthly mortgage payment of $3,821, which is $48 a month more than if you hadn't waited to buy at all. Now, what if the experts are correct? What if the prices increase 7.5% and the interest rate also increases 1% by the end of this year? That house that you could buy for $1 million today will cost $1,075,000 by the end of the year. With a 20% down payment, you'd have a loan amount of $860,000, and now the interest rate at 4.9%, you'd have a monthly mortgage payment of $4,564 a month, which is $791 more per month than if you had just bought now before the rates went up and before the price increased. It's easy to see how it's possible to get priced out of this market really, really quickly. So tell me, if you're a first-time home buyer, how long have you been looking for a house? How many offers have you made so far? And if you already have a house and you're thinking about moving, what's keeping you from selling? Are you waiting for the peak? Do you think the peak already happened? If you enjoyed this video, leave me a comment and make sure to check out this video right here before you go. Want to talk more about real estate? All my contact information is in the description below, and I'll see you in the next video.